Oh, hello again, friends. Welcome back to the show. It's time for another exciting energy drink review. And today we're doing something slightly classic, something that you've probably heard of, and in fact, maybe even have tried yourself. A little less obscure, but that doesn't make it any less special. Today we're talking about Monster Energy Juice. You're here, and look at that. I love this can. If you've had this before, chances are you haven't really put a lot of thought into it. Or maybe you have. I don't know. But I know that I am very excited to be partaking in this, mostly because this particular energy drink reminds me of something that I used to have as a young child. Something vaguely Polynesian and violent, something that's reminiscent of, what was it? Samoan Strike, or maybe it was the Tongan hit Hawaiian Punch. Ah, yes, of course, there it is, my friend. Look here. You'll notice the can itself is very lovely, and the tattoo flash that goes along the side here. This can is very reminiscent. See the anchor here is very reminiscent of some of the more classic styles of tattooing with shading and the very specific imagery that it invokes. Is very much one of those tattoo flashes you'd see on like an old sailor from the 1940s or something like that. Notice also the nautical theme. We have a little rope that goes around the can. The pale off-white kind of can color itself is very beach-like, and you'll see these bursts and stars and whatnot. This is all very much well curated and well put together. This was not done willy-nilly style. This was in fact very deliberate, and I think it makes just a wonderful can in and of itself here. Here we have a very classic phrase that you might see on many American service member death before dishonor, a code that I have seen many a time here. Let's read the can and see what other information we can glean that Monster has provided for us. Typical punch, it's not. Lighter, less sweet, and more complex. A flavor as deep and wide as its namesake, the Great Pacific. Naturally, we've added our Monster Energy blend to help put wind in your sails and keep you steady on course no matter how rough the seas. Pacific Punch, your adventure awaits. Arr, unleash the salty beast. Wow, this one is definitely, see here, there's the name by the way at the top, the Pacific Punch. Very reminiscent of what you would see as a young child here. Let's get the calorie information intake, shall we? Calories, 210 calories in one can. This has a lot of punch and will account for almost 10% of your daily caloric intake. Total fat, 0 grams, 80 milligrams of sodium, 53 total grams of carbohydrates. That includes 51 grams of sugar. Of that includes 49 grams of added sugar. There is a lot of sugar in this. Take that with a grain of salt. Maybe don't take the salt. We don't need any more of that. 130 milligrams of potassium, 260% of your daily intake of riboflavin, 250% intake of your daily intake of niacin, vitamin B3, 230% of vitamin B6, and 490% of your vitamin B12 intake for the day. So you might just want to have one. You might just want to have half of one. Keep that in mind as you enjoy your Pacific Punch responsibly. All right, lots of ingredients, not a significant source of saturated fat, trans fat, cholesterol, dietary fiber, vitamin D, calcium, or iron. The Monster Energy Blend, glucose, taurine, caffeine, maltodextrin, inositol, and L-carnitine. So there is caffeine from all sources. There is 160 milligrams of caffeine in this particular can of Monster. So we're not going to get that big caffeine buzz that we've seen in some of the other cans. Some of the other cans we've had boast upwards of 300 milligrams of caffeine, and we don't need to say that is a lot. Now, let's take a listen to the can, shall we? A lovely can, though I don't think that you should be bringing this on your ship. Keep that in mind. As you are sailing in the Pacific, this is definitely something to keep in your rubbish bin, not to just willy-nilly throw somewhere. All right, the moment we're waiting for. Not a bad snap as we open. We've had better ones, but we've also had worse. This one is pretty down the line, and already I'm getting a big scent of the added sugar, the 40 grams, the 51 grams of sugar that is in this can. Very punchy as we get to the more close inspection here. This does definitely smell like a children's you know, if you think about it, Hawaiian Punch kind of was the energy drink for children before we had energy drinks. There was a certain je ne sais quoi about it. Trying to nail down this scent profile. Pineapple, other fruits, and kind of as well. No coconut, that's a plus. But there is definitely some citrus and some other definite juice tones as well. Let's take our first taste. Definitely some cherry, some strawberry. Pineapple comes more in the taste as we get more into it. Definitely a lot of pineapple in there. But it all comes together very nicely. It's not overly carbonated. This is carbonated properly. There's not a whole lot of fizz that comes along with it. It doesn't get all foamy and frothy as one takes its sip. The coating, there is a strong coating that goes into this as well. It definitely has some staying power in the mouth. I'm tasting it long after I've enjoyed it. We'll put it that way. Let's take a look at the actual contents here. Just as anticipated, that, my friends, is red dye number 3542. All of the natural red dyes that you might see in life. This would have to be careful if you were to have this around children, because I can see it definitely becoming confused with a different very red punch drink itself. Ah, yes. One would have to be careful with this, especially if wearing white gloves or on white carpets. Even just being careful of this one itself. Generally, leaving it in the can, you're not going to have this trouble. But the traditional red dye mustache is one that I think is going to become very in vogue as we continue drinking and participating in this flavor, my friend. It is definitely very sweet. It says on the can a light sweetness, but this is a light sweetness like maybe having 3 or 5 pancakes is a light breakfast. The concept of light doesn't really carry over too well. Take a look at this. Very thin, not a lot of legs. It does seem to have an applause going along there, so we do know it is caffeinated, but not overly so. There's no thick, creamy head that goes on the top of this particular drink. Ah. Every last bit is important, my friends. Now, were I to pair this with something, of course, you could definitely go with some sort of tropical flavor. A lovely pineapple garnish flag with a cherry on there. Go bold and do something with an orange. An orange little wedge to put on the side would be new, different, and interesting. If one were to mix with an alcohol, definitely something clear. I would stay away from the bitters and the gins, though. Maybe something more along the lines of a 99 Bananas. A coconut rum would be interesting. Or maybe a citrusy type, a citrusy vodka. Maybe a clear tequila. I wouldn't go overboard with that one though, but scratch that. Steer clear of flavors. This has enough flavor to it. This is sweet enough as it is. You don't want to add too much other flavors to go along with it. That would be created nothing great. But yes, just a regular clear vodka, a Finlandia, a Tito's would be good, Grey Goose even. A little something extra. Well, there you have it, my friends. Monster Pacific Punch juice flavored energy drink. Enjoy responsibly, because I have a feeling. I feel like I should be at a birthday party and getting some cake where I can then go into a bouncy castle, jump around after being oversugared, and throw up somewhere. Not because I'm like overly sick, but just because I'm so excited. I feel like there should be parties, some streamers, and just oversugared. That's how I feel like. That's what this reminds me of. That's what it takes me back to. Now, this reaches the end of our video, and I just wanted to say thank you for making it all the way to the end. If you liked what you see, give us a like, leave a comment below, and let us know if you have an energy drink that you would like us to try. Of course, don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell so that you know when we put up new content. The carbonation's coming back. Stay energized, my friends.